What would you say? When was the last time you would consider yourself a gamer, or like, are you still into gaming at all?
I have I guess I've hung up the controller.
You're retired? Come on, man.
I haven't.
We're Gen Xers. We're never retired from video
Yeah,
games.
I feel like I have betrayed my own generation. Let's see. The last time I turned the Xbox on to play a game was probably a year ago Christmas.
Really?
And that was because I talked myself into buying the first iteration of the NCAA football that hadn't come out
Oh
in like
yeah,
15 years.
yeah. I did the same thing,
And
and
I bought it and
yep.
played it about 4 hours and then quit.
I did the same thing. I realized that was my. I'll do this. This will happen to me every couple of years. I'll buy either the. I'll usually it's Madden. Like I'll buy the Madden game. I'll buy some sports game, which has gotten infinitely more complex.
Yeah, they're much more challenging. I mean, some of the principles are still the same, but
Yeah.
it looks better, it plays better, but I wouldn't say it's light years better than what we played, say, 10 years ago.
As a game, it's not all that much fun anymore because you actually have to like it's one thing to sit like we do on Sundays and read defenses and kind
Yeah.
of know what's going on in the game.
Sure.
It's a whole other thing to do that in real time and try to make competent plays in a football game. It's crazy.
I think being a really good Madden gamer helps you break down actual football games. But anybody that's in actual football will tell me I'm crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
They'll be
Well,
like, "You're making shit up now."
especially when you look at you look at like competitive gaming, like the Madden football is not anything really like real.
No,
real
no,
football
no, no.
that you're
It's I don't know. I played Rocket League some when it first came out.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Not realizing that it was going to be like the esports capital of the world for a while.
Yeah.
I've seen some guys on Rocket League that are just, I don't know how you ever get the ball away from them or win. So they just control the ball. Like it's kind of like, I think it got so popular because it was like soccer. Like in soccer, if you can control the ball and make it do whatever you want to do, then you add athleticism and you add hand-eye coordination. You're the king.
Okay.
Rocket League's kind of the same way. In if you can control the ball and make it do what you want to, you're tough to beat.
Everything you're saying to me right now is completely foreign. I've never played Rocket League, and I don't have any idea what it's like. Although I was just looking up what the top online games are. Number 3 is Fortnite. Still, like after 10 years, which I've picked up a little bit of. I have a bit of a Fortnite habit.
You and the 12-year-olds battling it out.
Listen, man, and I bring this all up because like my daughter just got into over this weekend. She was home and she was like, "Hey, Dad, can I get Red Dead Redemption for my Switch?" I was like, "Well, actually, you go on Netflix and get the game through Netflix and put it on your iPad, and I'll send you home with one of my old controllers." And so she's playing Red Dead Redemption on the iPad, which she seems to think is like some kind of a classic game now.
I guess it is a classic.
It kind of is. Yeah.
When Red Dead Revolver, which was the on-rails prequel to Red Dead Redemption,
Yeah.
came out,
Yeah.
I played that. I think that was on the original Xbox, or it might have been that. No, that was a PlayStation.
That was old school. Yeah. That was a long.
That
time
was like
ago.
a Sony PlayStation 2, I want to say.
Yeah.
But may have been 1.
I don't think I ever played that one. Now, I played Red Dead Redemption to completion. So, and I played Red Dead 2. I don't remember. I don't think I've ever finished that one. It's too long.
I liked it, and I had some friends that played it. Now, I have a friend whose name is Mike Sams. Mike is more gamer. He is more gamer than you and I will ever be anything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he is every system that's ever come out, including the Jaguar and some of the lesser known. He's owned it.
Yeah.
And he has, 15 or 20 games. And Mike, this is going to be a long open, but Mike would, when we were in our 20s, he would buy a game and play it for a week and then invite all of his friends over, because that was when you first had the 4-controller deal.
Oh yeah.
So this is PlayStation 1. So there's 4 controllers, and Mike would get really good at the game, or get, better than anybody else who's just picking it up for the first time, and beat the ever-loving shit out of us. And so he did that until the time that I figured out how to do track and field, which was a really fun game. But I made track and field non-competitive, so we quit playing. Like, to the point that they just were like, because I went and bought the game. This has become a saying among my oldest friends. He bought the game and now he dominates. Yeah. I went and bought the game, got good at it, and started beating Mike's ass.
That's great. That's fantastic.
But that was like around the era of NBA Live '97.
Oh, listen, I remember when we were doing, you and me and Joe,
same crew,
sitting in the living room with a bunch of controllers hooked up to a PlayStation 2, and each one of us has created like our own
player.
But that was insane.
Those are some of my favorite gaming times. Now, like, I don't go online. The last time I went online to play in a league was Super Mega Baseball 3.
Okay.
And that is I think that's maybe an Xbox only game.
But you got me into that. You got me into that briefly about a year ago, and I was like, I don't need.
I really love that game.
Another one.
And I've always loved baseball games. I burned hundreds of hours on baseball back in the late 80s.
Yeah, I never could do online sports games. I just never got there. I stuck with, like, I've done plenty of, like, Call of Duty and Fortnite has just got me. It's just got me in its grips right now. I'm like I need to go. I'm going to need a program at some point. Like, I'm going to have to go 12 steps on Fortnite because it's bad. I come up for lunch. I come up from my office from lunch, and I'm yelling at kids online.
99 versus 1.
Too small.
No, the saddest I ever got when Harrison was like 9 or 10, and he was playing Fortnite, and I'm watching him, and he is not trying to win. And I'm just like, what are you doing? Why aren't you trying to win? What? What are you talking about? I am winning. I was like, no, you're not. You're not trying to win. You're dancing.
I got to be honest with you, man. That's a weird thing to be mad about. We are just 2 middle-aged refugees from Generation X.
Man, we grew up in a time that was a lot simpler than it is today.
Could we gamble on sports back then?
No. Not really. We did, but not legally. But now?
Now we can, and we can talk about it on a podcast, and we can talk about a lot of other things too.
And we're going to. I'm Lanny.
And I'm Andrew.
And this is Bet Small,
Lose Small. We had another good weekend of football.
No, it was so good. Except if you're a Bills fan.
Shh. It's too soon. You want to just run through these?
Yeah,
let's 4 games. We don't have just because of the volume of games, we don't have as much to talk about.
We had 3 games and a bludgeoning.
Yeah. The bludgeoning was the first one that we're going to talk about here, which was San Francisco at Seattle. Poor San Francisco. I mean, what do you? There's just not much to say. Their defense couldn't stop anything. They're full of injuries. George Kittle tears his Achilles in the first half.
No, in the week before.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, he did it the week before.
Oh, was it? It was that's right. It was the week before. My goodness, it's been a long few days for me as a football fan.
As a footballer?
Yeah, just we'll get to it later. But yeah, not much to say about this. 41-6. It was never really in doubt.
No, the only time it was close, it was within about 3 seconds of the kickoff.
It was 17-0 before the end of the first quarter, and that was just when you knew. A couple interesting notes from this game, though. Kenneth Walker, 19 carries, 116 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, he had a great game.
Cooper Kupp was their leading receiver. Zach Charbonnet had 5 carries for 20 yards. Also tore his ACL, so he's out. He's going to be done.
That's a black eye for Charbonnet.
Ooh. Okay. Okay.
Oh, yes.
All right. See, you've completely thrown me off with your bad humor now. There's one thing. Here's a stat that stands out to me. Sam Darnold, 12 of 17, 124 yards and a touchdown. Sacked twice for 18 yards. QBR of 63.2. Now, I've gone hard on Sam Darnold all year, to the point where you just kind of snicker at me from time to time. But I'm familiar with this man's work, and I think this is still a question going forward. And this is one of those things where I keep hearing this, one of the key terms, or one of the most reused terms this year, has been QB reclamation project. Right? It's, you have a guy that goes for, he's either highly drafted, or he becomes a team starter, or he comes into the league, first round, second round pick, whatever, flames out in his first place, bounces around, maybe goes to a second, third team, and then has some success, right?
You're talking about like Teddy Bridgewater, Geno Smith, those types of guys that like they never quite were the guy,
right? And
there were circumstances wherever they may have been that didn't allow them to have the success that they should have.
Sure, we're seeing it with Baker Mayfield. We're getting ready to see it with guys like Tua, and
I don't know. We never were high on Tua to begin with.
No.
But Darnold is an interesting case because you're right. Minnesota didn't want – they wanted somebody else bad enough that they traded him.
Yeah. But in a way, it's not that unjustified, because you look at what happened to Darnold at the end of the year. The last 2 games that he played were absolute dumpster fires, right?
Yeah, they weren't good.
It fell right in line with his MO over his entire career.
We've had this conversation though where we were like, who was the worst quarterback that won a Super Bowl?
Sure.
And we didn't say the name Trent Dilfer, and he is probably the ultimate caretaker quarterback that won a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Also kind of a reclamation project. Was drafted by Tampa Bay.
Yes.
I think he was drafted first overall. He was definitely a top 5 pick.
And then ended up with a ring, but only because he was on a team with Ray Lewis and a vaunted defense and a good running game.
Yeah. I mean, look,
which sounds familiar. Doesn't that sound like Seattle to you? Even without Charbonnet?
Yes, I see what you're saying. But for every reclamation project that's a success, and we're talking about like basically Trent Dilfer, you could say Brad Johnson. You could say Rich Gannon was kind of one of those types of deals. Or the guys that come on like later, a little bit later, they don't hit the ground running in the NFL right away. For every one of those guys, there's a Josh Rosen, or there's a trying to think of some of the other ones. It just
some of the best
didn't work out. I
mean, Teddy Bridgewater was one.
Bridgewater,
We thought he was going to be who was the backup in Cincinnati that kind of
Andy Dalton.
Well, no, the back.
No.
I'll get there in a minute, but
you're the current backup.
Yeah, they're littered.
Okay.
The league is littered with these guys now that are Jake Browning.
Okay.
He was supposed to be the guy, and he was so much not the guy that they had to go get Joe Flacco because of him.
Yep. I mean, we've seen this. This happens repeatedly, and yes, in certain circumstances, you can have some success with a reclamation project quarterback. But you also might have J.P. Lossman. You might also have you might have Trent Green. Who was supposed to be the man for the St. Louis Rams, and then ended up getting traded to Kansas City and was
He was fine, but he was never like
not taking him to the Super Bowl.
People thought that was going to be the Steve Young, Joe Montana situation if you're old like we are, but it wasn't. Trent was fine, but he was never great.
I say this all to say, why do we think that Sam Darnold and Seattle have any shot of going to the Super Bowl and winning the Super Bowl?
I will tell you why.
Okay.
because they play their next game at home versus the Rams,
Okay.
who they have beaten, and they are favored to win.
Okay.
And then they get either a wounded Broncos team or they get a Pats team that has basically had one quality win.
Okay. Let me take you through the two. They put Seattle and the Rams played twice this year. Okay. First game was in week 11. At home, Rams at home for Seattle, they win 21-19. The second game was at Seattle, week 16. Seattle won 38-37 in overtime.
And that was a really important game.
Right.
Like, that was a big game, and Seattle somehow comes out with a win.
That was the game where the Rams went from like widely considered either the best team in the league or one of the two best teams in the league to like not even in the conversation anymore, because they lost the next week at Atlanta in odd fashion, then finished their season out with a win at home for Arizona. But they went from being the one seed in the NFC to wild card, just like that. And it was like we just forgot about them. And I think we even said on this podcast, we said, well, it's one of those deals where they peaked. You've always got that team that peaks a little too early. Maybe that was the Rams. I don't think so. I think the Rams are in good shape this week. But I'm really, of all the things this weekend, one of the things I'm most interested to see is what does Sam Darnold bring to the table when he's down a running back, and it's time to. You used the term put up or shut up.
Put up or shut up.
Yep.
And I got a lot of shit for that.
This is you did, but this is it for Sam Darnold. He's in year 7 now. Like it's time, man. If he's going to be a reclamation project, this is the game that he's got to win this coming week.
So January 25th at 6:30 p.m. By the way, we're recording on Wednesday the 21st. We'll try to have the podcast up today, but it may not make it up until Thursday.
It's okay. Nobody's listening to this.
Maybe they may be listening to the shorts.
Yeah.
If you just look at this as Sam Darnold versus
Matt Stafford.
Thank you. You have to give the advantage to Stafford, but that's not how football is played.
No, it's not.
They're one of 22 plus a kicker and
That's
coach. Right. I think the Rams have the best coach in the league.
I think, I would say if he's not the best, he's in the conversation of
for sure
2 or 3 best coaches.
I don't know that the Seahawks. I don't know that they have to have Sam Darnold to have some sort of insane performance.
Okay.
I think he just has to be good enough.
He just has to not lose in the game. Because I don't think we learned anything about Seattle from this San Francisco game. We've learned that Seattle's got an awesome defense. We already knew that. It doesn't have to rest all on Darnold for them to win. But at some point, if they get into a shootout, they're going to have to score points fast, and that's where Darnold's going to come into play.
I think he manages the game well enough to do that. The question is, can he?
Yeah.
Puka Nacua and Matt Stafford are pretty damn special.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the interesting part for me is the Seattle defense has made some guys look pretty bad.
That's true.
But can they make those two guys look bad?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, let's move on from that game. We know we'll get to the Rams. We'll get to the conference championship previews in a little bit. Let's go to Houston and New England. I've seen some bad games out of quarterbacks before. We saw one. I would argue that there was a bad game played by my own quarterback this past Saturday.
Nothing compared to C.J. Stroud.
It falls into the category of unmitigated disaster.
Here's what happened to Houston though. Woody Marks rushed 14 times for 17 yards. So when you put everything on Stroud like they did, and he comes up with 4 interceptions, and Woody Marks has a fumble, you're just not going to win the game.
It was weird, though. even with the 5 turnovers, the four turnovers, five turnovers by C.J. Stroud.
Well, he had 4 turnovers.
He had 4 turnovers. It actually made me think. There's that great episode of Friends where Ross goes. I promise I'm going to land the plane on this. There's this great episode of Friends where Ross goes to. He had that monkey that he had to send away to live in a zoo.
Oh yes.
And he goes in to visit him, and Fred Willard, who plays a representative from the zoo, says, "Well, he got sick, then he got sicker, and then he got better." But then he died. That was kind of C.J. Stroud's game. Like he came out of half to, like he played as bad as you can possibly play a half of football. Came out in the second half, and this is the thing: Houston was in this game, even with all the turnovers, all the terrible shit that went wrong, all the stupid throws.
They were in it.
Houston was still at the beginning of the third quarter. They kicked a field goal. They were within. It
was a one-score
touchdown.
game.
It was a one-score game. They were within 8. It was 21-13. And then the Patriots fumbled. And then, of course, the Houston fumbled. And it's also worth mentioning that this game was played in horrendous weather.
Yeah, the weather was definitely a factor.
It was cold and it was snowy and the ball gets slick and who knows. I mean, that doesn't explain why C.J. Stroud couldn't help but throw the ball to guys in blue jerseys. But
he got sacked 3 for 19. Let's not forget, as we have the AFC Championship coming up, Drake May also had an interception and 4 fumbles, which he lost 2 of.
Yeah.
He did not have a great game either. Did he rise to the occasion? I guess.
I was not particularly impressed with 3 of the 4 quarters that Drake May played in this game.
No, I wouldn't either. 16 of 27 for 179 and 3 touchdowns, but like the touchdowns were pretty easy.
He looked like a young quarterback playing in the first real big time game of his career,
which is true.
For all of the talk that we've had this year about, Drake May's made the leap. Vrabel's gotten the most out of him. He's turned into a team leader. He still is only in his second. He's still 24 years old. Like he's still in his second year in the league. Like this is absolutely brand new territory for him. So going into Denver, and we'll talk about that game in a little bit. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced yet that Drake May is going to look like or play like an MVP level quarterback, like potentially the best quarterback in the league in the AFC Championship game. I didn't see anything out of him in this game that made me think this guy is getting ready to go on a dominant run.
In summary, if there is a valid and lively debate at halftime among former players about whether Davis Mills should start the second half or C.J. Stroud should come back out, it's been a bad game. And I think if C.J. Stroud plays an average game, the Texans win that one.
C.J. Stroud, maybe one of the next QB reclamation projects.
He may be. He may not be there next year.
He'll be there next year, but they're going to have to make a decision pretty soon on his extension.
Yeah,
so
that's what I'm saying.
If you hear Frank barking out there, take a drink. Let's go on to the Rams in Chicago.
The best game of the weekend.
Best game of the weekend by far. So cold.
What a thriller.
So cold. And look, anybody who says that, I've seen people argue like, well, both teams have to play in the cold. It's not really affecting them. I'm like, dude, you get sub 20 degrees outside, and I don't care what you're doing. I don't care how much clothing you're wearing. It's going to fuck with you, man. That ball gets slick. It gets hard. The ground it's like getting tackled in a parking lot.
Every hit looked miserable.
Everything looked bad.
I'm going to quote Colin Cowherd here, as much as I hate to do it.
All right.
Cowherd has this thing where he talks about good coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think he's just a fucking guy that runs his mouth a lot.
No.
But here's a stat for you.
You mean the guy that does a solo radio show has been doing a solo radio show for like 15 years?
Yeah, it just bloviates.
Okay.
All right. in the Rams-Bears game, which we know went to overtime, the Rams had fewer yards. They had 0 turnovers in that weather to the Bears 3. They had 22 first downs to the Bears 23. 1 penalty for 5. That was the entirety of the penalties against the Rams.
Yeah.
The Bears only had 3 for 24. The Rams weren't efficient on third down, only 5 for 16. They were 1 for 1 on fourth down, and they possessed the ball less than the Bears. The Bears don't have 3 turnovers. They probably win the game.
I agree with that. I think also if the Rams don't have Matt Stafford as the steadying force on that team, then that's also going to contribute to the Bears winning that game. I think Caleb Williams looked a lot like Drake May in the first half.
Can we talk about the throw?
So many. Like, this guy has a portfolio of throws at this point.
Yeah, he is knocking on the doorstep of probably the best guy in the league.
2 years from now, that dude is going to be the man.
But he had 3 picks.
He had 3 picks. Yeah.
So he still hasn't quite got that don't throw it to the other team thing down.
Right.
I mean, there's been some great quarterbacks that never quite got it down. Brett Favre, Josh Allen.
Too soon.
Anyway, but the throw that got them the game-tying touchdown toward the end of regulation, where he runs backwards for 15 or 20 yards, never gets set, throws off his back foot, does not follow through, throws it 45 yards in the air to a wide-open tight end, I believe it was, to tie the game. The announcers lost their damn minds.
I lost my mind. I didn't even think it didn't even look like he was looking at the guy. That's the thing.
It was like a Hail Mary that ended up being like the perfect pass.
It was to Cole Kmet. It was a 14-yard pass. This is the great thing. It was a 14-yard touchdown pass. That's what will go in the actual score in the box score. That ball went 45 yards in the air.
Yeah,
he ran backwards forever. It looked like a Tecmo Bowl play. You remember when you used to you just run backwards as far as you possibly could and then heave a ball into the end zone? That was what it looked like.
He threw it from the 40 or 41 yard line, and it went into the back corner of the end zone.
It was unbelievable.
So at least 45 yards in the air.
That guy, if you have that kind of arm talent, if somebody can unlock him, man, we're all in trouble.
There are very few guys that are listening to this podcast, and even fewer ladies, that can throw a ball 30 yards in the air.
Oh my God. Do you think you could throw a ball 30 yards in the air?
90
feet.
Yeah, I could throw a football.
90 feet is like from your driveway to like your back fence.
No, think of it like this. 60 feet, 6 inches from home plate to second base.
Okay.
Or no, from home plate to the pitcher's mound.
Home plate to pitcher's mound. Okay.
So if you're throwing it to, can you throw it to second base from home plate on a regulation baseball diamond?
That's a football.
Yeah.
An NFL football.
I can throw it that far. I could throw it that far. I haven't thrown a football in some time.
We might have to go outside at some point and do this for the podcast. Just get it on film. I want to see if either of us.
See if we could throw the ball 30 yards in the air.
I tried to throw a football at it was one of those. I forget where we were. It was like an amusement park or a fair or something like that.
Yeah. Had
the little thing where you could throw a football through the hole, and I wound up and threw this football thinking, oh, it's I've done this a million times in my life. I can do this. It went almost directly into the dirt. It was I don't know if it was the release was wrong. It felt I was winding up. I came through. The follow through was great, and it just went straight down. And so, I mean, I'd like to see if we could actually throw a football. But then to do that, to be running backwards 30 yards and then just heave it up using basically only your arm. He's not stepping into this ball. It's just I just couldn't believe it, and it just kind of made me go, uh-oh. We're all in trouble if this guy puts it all together.
What did you see out of the Rams that made you say that's the Super Bowl winning team?
They have the best combination of good defense and good offense. And their defense Their defense is not. I wouldn't say their defense is top 5, although they might be. I wouldn't say their offense is top 5, but they also might be. And I still believe that they have the MVP quarterback in Matt Stafford, and he's got the most experience. We talked about this with the Bills. When we were looking at the rest of the playoffs, we were going, well, the Bills have the most playoff experience here. Like even the Rams, they don't have many people left from the last time they won the Super Bowl.
They have the most important one, though.
They have the most important one, but they've got the most experience left now.
Yeah, he was 20 of 42 for 258. No touchdowns, no picks, sacked 4 for 29.
Yeah.
It wasn't a quintessential performance, but the weather conditions, you thought the weather was bad for the first game. The weather in this game was god awful.
He never backed down. That's the thing. It's like he never had that deer in the headlights look like you saw for a minute out of Caleb Williams and Drake May and
CJ Stroud.
I'll tell you, didn't see it out of really was Bo Nix for a lot of that game. We'll get to that in a second, but
gosh,
I still feel like the Rams are going to do it, but we'll get to that at the end. We'll get through our picks at the end. We'll give a good preview of these two conference championships. So that's it. That was the end. That's not the end of the weekend, is it? We have to talk about this.
I thought you were just talking just to keep putting off what we're going to talk about now, which was the Broncos 33, the Bills 30 in overtime, and Josh Allen having how would you categorize it? A dismal performance.
It's weird.
In some ways.
It's weird because
he threw for 283 yards and 3 touchdowns, but he also had 2 picks.
It's weird because he was the only reason that they were in this game. He's also the only reason.
Don't sell James
why
Cook
they were
short.
Well, okay, yeah, but James Cook also fumbled.
He had 24 carries for 117 yards, and he averaged almost 4.9 a carry.
That's fine. That's fine. But the reason that they're scoring, the reason that they were able to come back and tie this game up and send it to overtime in the first place is because of Josh Allen. It's also true that they were in that position because of Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
He missed a ton of throws. He missed a wide open Dalton Kincaid at the end of the fourth quarter when they kicked the field goal. He had Kincaid wide open for a touchdown. Just missed him, just overthrew him. 4 or 5 plays before that, he threw a ball in the dirt to Curtis Samuel. He missed throws all over the place. Now we're hearing now that, he might have to have surgery on his foot. So who knows how banged up this guy was.
I think he was really banged up, and they were probably doing medically necessary things to get him in shape to play. The most talked about play of that game was it an interception? Was it not an interception?
Yeah. We disagree on this too.
Yeah, I actually think that was a catch and down by contact. You think it was an interception?
I think it was an interception. Let's put it this way. Now I'm kind of I'm more of a look. The rules are written. You got to go by them. That's the rules. To me, that rule it's pretty clear. There's a lot of people saying, well, now we've got this vague understanding of what a catch is. I'm like, it's not actually that vague. If that ball was caught on the sidelines and he hits the ground and he's sliding out of bounds and the ball is moving around, it's going to be ruled not a catch. If he lands in the end zone and he hits the ground like that and he's sliding out, it's probably going to be an incomplete pass. The ball is live when he hits the ground because he doesn't have the ball secured. And at that point, it's whether it's rolling around on somebody's helmet or somebody's ass or their legs or whatever, you take it away from them, that's a pick.
Counterpoint.
Yeah.
If a guy catches the ball,
yeah,
and he goes to the ground with one knee and he has firm control of the ball, or even if it's a tie, the tie goes to the offense.
Yeah.
So you have possession, you have a knee on the ground, and you have down by contact.
Yeah.
And the ball never touched the ground. So to me, that is a catch.
Well, I thought on replay.
You're on Gene's territory side.
Listen.
And Gene, man.
You went off on Gene. Poor Gene is over here catching strays because of a weird receiver group for Buffalo. But
like,
go ahead.
Here's what they do with Gene. Jim Nantz turns to Gene, or I guess were they on CBS? Yeah, I think they were on CBS.
Yeah.
Jim Nantz turns to Gene, and what he says and what actually happens are two different things. What he says is, tell me what you got on that, Gene. What he means is, Gene, tell me why the referees were right.
Hey, listen, we give the refs a lot of hell for missed calls and not calling holding on this and calling interference on this and not. We give them a lot of hell, but they do get, I would say, a majority of the calls right. And in this case, I think. But listen, I'm also the guy that like. Bills fans probably get pissed off at me for even wearing a Bills hat in the first place and call myself a Bills fan because, like, I think the Music City Miracle was a legal play. I don't think like a lot of these controversial plays. I'm like, not that controversial, man. This was a pick.
I will give you credit though. What you said was, that pick doesn't matter nearly as much if they don't do all the other dumb shit that they did.
Exactly.
They put themselves in a position to have a controversial call come back and bite them in the ass.
Well,
all they had to do was not do that.
And part of the reason, too, is that ball is being thrown to 32-year-old Curtis Samuel, who has been traded like 11 times instead of like, an actual receiver like an A.J. Brown or somebody like that. This goes back to they've never really had – Josh was running around all day. They never really had anybody open. They don't seem to use they've got these two pretty good tight ends that they don't seem to really use a whole lot. It was everything caught up to the Bills at once. And once that pick happened, it's luckily the pick happened and everything was fine after that.
This is the diminishing returns on mega contracts that we will have to get into in the offseason, but I'll give you
I don't think it's got anything.
I'll give you the very quick version.
Yeah.
Once you pay one person X amount percentage of your salary cap.
Yeah.
And for Josh, it's a big percentage. Same for Joey Votto. Same for, those kinds of guys. And you don't put talent around them. Pat Mahomes had found out.
Yeah.
When he didn't have Tyreek Hill anymore.
Sure.
That you can't do that.
Still won a Super Bowl without Tyreek, though.
He won.
Went to 3 Super Bowls,
but only
and
had
won 2.
Okay.
Without Tyreek.
But
look, I get what you're saying. I tend to disagree because the salary cap keeps going up. So in 3 years, the $52 million that Josh Allen is making is actually going to be a bargain when the top salary for for Caleb Williams is $73 million. So
okay,
I don't know.
That's fair. Anyway, the Broncos are going to the AFC Championship, and Bo Nix is broken.
Man, that was bizarre, wasn't it?
Like apparently he played a couple of plays or one play or two plays with the broken foot or broken leg.
I think he was, there was the rollout play, I guess, where I'm unclear on what they said. It was the second to last play of the game, but the second last play of the game was the kneel down before they kicked the field goal. So I don't know when this happened. It happened within that last drive after the Broncos got the 2 pass interference calls in their favor, which I think those calls were right as well. I think it's ironic that the Bills had, I don't know if you knew this, the Bills had 4 defensive pass interference calls against them this year, and they had 2 within 3 plays on that last drive.
That's crazy.
It's crazy, isn't it? Luckily,
they weren't good. They weren't actually good enough to actually get pass interference on most of the other ones.
Well,
I'm kidding.
I mean,
I hate to poke you.
Listen, man.
After this.
Well, it's, you know what? The Broncos are moving on. The Bills are going to be fine. They've got a solid coaching staff, and they've. LOL, just kidding. No, since that interception. Actually, the Bills have unraveled in fantastic fashion for basically the last 96 hours. Josh Allen is crying in the post game press conference. Sean McDermott is not only complaining about the officiating on the interception, he also apparently called pool reporters from the plane home and was telling them his stance on that interception, on the officiating. The next day, he gets fired, and the owner has just Terry Pegula has just been doing some of the most bizarre shit that you've ever seen an owner do in public, without going on some kind of a booze bender or getting caught in a massage hall in Florida someplace.
So he and Jeannie Buss and Mark Davis are all on a retreat talking about how they can take a grenade to their teams.
Unbelievable what's happened in the last 72 hours with this team. Unbelievable.
I want to say I feel bad for you, but the steady ownership in Cincinnati, where they've had the same de facto GM for 24 years and they've only produced like 9 winning seasons.
I'm kind of envious of you right now. Like you have a coach in place. We fired a coach who's been a winning coach for 9 years. 9 years. The owner comes out and says, "Well, I fired him because of the emotions on Sunday and because of we couldn't get to the Super Bowl and basically I just felt it was time." Right? I mean, these are things that he's saying in public. And then he's interrupting. They had this bizarre press conference today where they promoted Brandon Beane, who's their general manager, promoted him to president of football operations. Now,
congratulations, Brandon Beane.
Failing up as far as I'm concerned. Not that I think that Brandon Beane has failed, but to make Sean McDermott the fall guy when the players that he's working with are the players that Brandon Beane has given him. He's drafted 3 Pro Bowl players. It's been Josh Allen, it's been James Cook, and it's been their left tackle. Those are the only 3 Pro Bowl players that he's hit on in all of his draft time. Now he's drafted some good ones, but part of the reason that Josh Allen is thrown to a bunch of guys that are not number 1 receivers, in some cases, not even number 3 receivers, is because Brandon Beane has done the cooking. All right. And somebody asked about this in the press conference today. And here comes Terry Pegula butting in and saying, "No, just let me tell you this. It was the coaching staff that pushed to draft Keon Coleman in the second round last year."
Okay.
So he wastes no time throwing the coach that he just fired, who just had 9 years of success, threw him directly, didn't even throw him under the bus. This was like one of those old silent movies where you got a dude with a little mustache and a top hat and he's tying a woman to the train track and he just sits back there and watches. Yeah. And here comes that's what he was doing with Sean McDermott for like an hour and a half today. It was unbelievable. And you're doing all of this at a time when 2 of the best coaching candidates have already been hired by other teams in Harbaugh and Stefanski. And now you're up there on the podium as an owner throwing your former coach under the bus when technically the other coaches on this team, on this staff, have not been fired yet. Like they're still there. And you're gonna say, "Hey guys, anybody want to come work for me? Terry Pegula here. Totally not gonna throw you under the bus." Like I don't understand it. We went from like one of the most stable franchises over the last decade, the franchise with the most wins over the last decade, to complete chaos in 96 hours. It's unbelievable.
Hockey started this shit where they would fire a good coach because there was some sort of chemistry issue. Oh. And then the NBA got in on the act, and like if a couple of the best players didn't like the head coach, they would just fire them.
Yeah.
So now we're into bizarro world where the Bengals coach, Zach Taylor, gets to stay and your coach gets fired and then routinely and summarily blamed for all the losses.
Unbelievable. a public dumpster fire this franchise has become. Like, all of a sudden, the Browns are looking over going, look at those guys. Like, they suck, man. I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
I'm going to do everyone
Terry,
a
shut
favor.
the fuck up, please. Just stop talking for a minute, okay?
I'm going to cut you off now, sir.
Go ahead. That's fine.
Okay,
I gotta get it off my chest.
We're going to go. We're going to take a break. We've just done the recap. We're going to get you a Valium.
Yeah.
We're going to take a break, and then when we come back, we're going to update the contest, which, I don't really want to talk about, but we're going to update the contest. We're going to preview the AFC Championship and the NFC Championship. We're going to lay out some bets. And then in the last segment, we're going to talk about senseless songs that are your earworms.
Look out, Dave Matthews and Sting.
So do we want to start in the AFC or the NFC?
Let's start. Which game gets played first? I think the
3 p.m.
3 p.m.
CBS.
Yeah.
This is January 25th, which is
both games on Sunday.
Yeah.
Patriots Broncos at 3:00. Patriots at Broncos. Broncos are 4.5-point dogs at home. They're getting 4.5 points. They are plus 200. Patriots are minus 245. The over/under is 42.5.
But this has already moved to 5.5 on DraftKings.
Okay.
So,
but we're going with the 4.5.
Yeah, we're going
since
with 4.5.
we're sticking with FanDuel. FanDuel was interesting. They were the last ones to flip the Denver and Buffalo game. Remember, they had Buffalo as favorites, as 1.5-point favorites, when everybody else had flipped to Denver minus 1.5.
So just to catch everybody up, I'm sure you already know this if you're watching a gambling podcast, but Bo Nix is out. He broke a leg. J.K. Dobbins is out. He's on IR.
Yep.
The Pats still have Ramondre Stevenson and Trevion Henderson. Their leading receiver is Stephon Diggs, who had another 1,000-yard season and 4 pregnancies this year.
Listen, there's still time left. There's still time left for Stephon.
And
I joked with you the other day. Somebody should go on one of those prediction markets like Kalshi, and just see what kind of money, see what kind of odds you can get on Stephon Diggs will impregnate another woman within the next 6 months, 12 months. It'd be interesting.
So, I would. This doesn't have to be in your picks, but obviously, I don't think you're taking the Broncos in this situation.
Go ahead. Who do you got? Who do you got in this? First of all,
I have to take the Patriots. I mean,
you're going to take the Patriots.
Have to. I mean, this is you cannot come in here with your backup quarterback that really hasn't played all season and expect him to come into the AFC Championship and perform at a level in which you can win against a Mike Vrabel coached team.
Okay.
I just don't. Sean Payton may be a great coach, but I just don't see how they have enough.
No faith in the old Jay Stidham. It's worth noting. I am really wary of home teams, of home dogs in the conference championship, especially when it's Denver. Denver's notoriously a difficult place to play. It's always been a weird place. I know it's not the same teams or whatever, but the Patriots have a pretty rough history playing in Denver.
Sure.
They've not had a lot of success there. The Tom Brady era was not kind to the Patriots in Denver. I know it's not the same players. They change every year, not the same coach. Denver's just a difficult place to play.
It's a mile-high stadium. I mean, it's 5,280 feet in the air. That's why they call it such.
You could kind of see in the Bills Denver game. Sean Payton said something that was really smart. He said the time off, because they had the bye week. Mm-hmm. He said the time off and the atmosphere is not going to help us at the start of the game, but it'll help us at the end. And that's kind of what happened. The Bills, they, like I said, from the time of that interception to basically today, they flamed out in spectacular fashion. Could not get a stop when it counted in overtime. And I think as this game wears on, I didn't see enough to convince me that Drake May is totally ready for this kind of situation.
ESPN Analytics has it as a 41% for possibility for Denver to win, and that's 2-5. So
yeah.
I mean, it's not impossible for them to win, but I'm on the Pats. I think they win by a touchdown, at least a touchdown, and I think it's maybe a close game for a little while. But can you imagine coming into the biggest game of your life, and not having played it down all year except for the preseason or whatever?
Well, no, I can't. But this is Sean Payton we're talking about.
I know.
And when you're talking about quarterbacks, man, he's the guy. Look, there's not many guys that I would have confidence in. There's not many coaches I would have confidence in this situation. Sean Payton is one of those coaches. So you're taking New England minus the 4.5. Is this what you're saying?
I'm going to take them.
Okay.
I'll tell you my pick on that game in a second. But.
And that's going to go at minus 112. How many pesos you putting on that one, my friend?
I said I had 3 bets, but it's going to be more. If we're picking the game individually, I'm laying the 4.5, and I'm putting 40 pesos on that.
40. Okay. I am taking the points. I think this game is going to be close.
Wow, okay.
I think Jarrett Stidham has a chance. Like, have we seen something truly weird happen in these playoffs yet?
Yeah.
Yeah,
we've seen all
kinds
of stuff.
Like, besides, like I'm saying, like, truly, like, out of your mind weird. Like, we've seen good games.
Caleb Williams making a 45-yard throw to send that game to overtime.
Yeah, but that's a good play. I wouldn't say that that's necessarily weird. He's been doing that all year.
We've had 2 season-ending injuries in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm saying
Bo Nix missing the rest of the playoffs.
Yeah,
it's been a weird year.
I know. And
here's the theme that we've been dealing with all year. And it's not just us. If you listen to any football podcast, any betting podcast, any of those things, people that know what they're talking about, I'm not saying we don't, but I'm saying
we kind of don't.
Real pros,
yeah,
they've had 2 issues all year.
Yeah.
There's no good team. There's no one team where you're like, yes.
No one dominant team.
There's no one dominant team. And injuries have been terrible this year to known players. Like the fact that CMC made it all the way through to the playoffs, only missing a handful of games, was kind of a minor miracle this year.
Yeah. And man, he was limping to the finish line.
He was literally the only offensive asset they had.
Yeah.
He and Purdy.
He did something to his shoulder early in that game where they were like doing the thing where they reach up under, they were like massaging his shoulder up under the pads and everything.
Mark my words, he's going to have that Derrick Henry fall off next year, where he's going to have 4 or 5 brilliant games, but he's going to have some games where he just disappears.
Some games where you just go, where is he even on the field? Yep. I'm going Broncos, and I'm taking the points. I think it's too much to be a 4.5 point dog at home in the playoffs in Denver with a Super Bowl proven coach, even with the quarterback issues, even with their running back issues. I still think it's closer than 4.5. I think this is a Patriots, 24-21, 27-24. It's going to be, you're going to see something. Sean Payton's going to have something schemed up to play to whatever Jarrett Stidham's strengths and weaknesses are. I don't even know that he has any strengths, but that's the thing. We don't know. And you have to take that into account too, is that the Patriots nobody has any film on Jarrett Stidham. Nobody has
do you need film on him?
Look, man, it's a factor. I think it's a factor because Sean Payton can scheme up some things that could be curveballs. So I'm taking Denver. I'm taking the points. I'm not saying Denver's going to win, but I'm taking the 4.5. That's at minus 108, and I'm putting 80 of my 200 pesos on that.
That's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
That's what I like to hear. Okay. Let's move to the NFC. I've got a
Rams at Seahawks. 6:30 p.m. on Sunday.
Yeah, so they don't give you any time for a breather. The Seahawks, according to ESPN, are a 54% favorite, according to analytics. Right now, the spread's 2.5 Seahawks.
Okay. Seahawks are a minus 154 money line favorite. Rams are plus 130. The over/under is 46.5, which I think is a little high.
I'm not messing with the over/under.
I'm not touching the. I'm not messing with the over/under on this one either.
I tell you what, I'm a little bit sad about is we're about to have a snowstorm, but thus the hat.
Yeah.
We're about to have.
Is it gonna in here? Is that why you're wearing that?
In here?
Okay.
We're about to have a serious snowstorm in the eastern half of the United States.
Yeah, pretty much.
So neither of these games is going to be affected by that.
No, not at all. We're in Denver, and we're in Seattle. Denver, I think the weather's going to be like in the 30s.
Okay. I mean, it's football weather.
Yeah, it's football weather, but it's not going to. The weather's not going to affect Denver and the Rams. Or Denver and the Patriots. I don't know. I haven't looked at the weather in Seattle. My guess is it will be wet, just since it's Seattle. I don't know.
Probably. 44 degrees and partly cloudy, according to the game information.
Yeah,
the game is on Fox at 6:30. That's a prediction for now. Who knows what it'll be?
Well, who do you got? Let's lay it out here.
I'm all chalk this time. I am. I'm laying the points and taking the Seahawks.
Taking the Seahawks. Okay. I like this because we disagree on both of these games. So you're taking the Seahawks and minus 2.5.
Yep.
And that's gonna get you minus 115. What are you putting on that one?
30 pesos.
30 pesos. Okay.
Which leaves me how many?
That's gonna leave you 130.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Great. See, you've taken a different strategy than me.
I'm behind. I don't know. I've got to catch up.
Yeah. I've put more of my pesos on the individual picks because these parlays are. I don't know, man. We've done parlays so much this year. I'm kind of like, I got to get, if I'm trying to win this, you play to win the game. You play to win the game.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Rams plus 130. And I'm putting 90 pesos on that.
Wow.
I think the Rams win this outright. I don't think Sam Darnold's ready. I don't think he's.
He is.
First of all, I don't think he's ever going to be ready.
He is on the injury report this week, by the way.
Oh, is he? What's he?
Questionable with the
Heart. Brain? Is it mentality?
No, I think it's his psyche.
Okay, yeah. Listen, he's not been impressive for me for a month now. I mean, even in those games even in the game, like you go back, remember going back to that game against the Rams, and it was like he had the weird pass that bounced off somebody's helmet, and then he had it's just, there's weird shit going on here with Sam Darnold, and this is the biggest game he's ever played in, like by far the biggest game he's ever played in.
Yeah, and Matt Stafford has Super Bowl experience. He's won a Super Bowl.
You don't have Zach Charbonnet, so the two-headed monster of Charbonnet and Walker.
I think
missing a leg.
I think that's interesting. I think Kenneth Walker is still going to have a good game.
Kenneth Walker's plenty good enough. They have maybe the best receiver in the game in Jackson Smith and Jigba.
I don't know. Puka Nacua is pretty good.
Yeah, but JSN is in there. He's in that conversation.
Oh, for sure. I mean, he had 119 catches for 10 touchdowns and 1,700 yards, almost 1,800 yards.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about him, Jamar Chase, who quietly won the Triple Crown for receivers this year.
And Nacua had 129 catches for 1,700 yards and 10 touchdowns.
Right.
So, I mean, they're not that much different.
JSN is still
a little bit better.
Top 5. Let's give him top 5.
Oh, he's top 3.
I just can't. I cannot see a world where Sam Darnold is playing in the Super Bowl. I just can't visualize this for a minute. Sam Darnold in 2026 playing in a Super Bowl.
I know this is. I'm either one of two things is going to happen. Either Sam Darnold is going to turn into the pumpkin that Andrew has predicted he's going to be for the entire year, or Andrew's prediction is going to turn into a pumpkin.
Hey,
One or the other is going to happen.
that's fine. I'll write.
Loser leaves town.
Listen, I'll ride it straight down the mountain into a fiery wreck if that's what it takes. But I'm going to be right about this. I'm going to be right about this at some point, damn it. Even if it's like in the Pro Bowl flag football game or something. I don't know. So I've got Rams plus 130, and I'm putting 90 on that. How about your parlay? We got to pick a parlay. That's part of the contest. Our contest was 200 pesos per week. We have to pick each game against the spread or money line, and then we have to create a parlay that uses all the games. This week we only have 2 games, so we've only got to create a parlay with 2 games. So we got to get a little creative.
So I'm only going to put, since I have, I'm going to put 30 pesos on my parlay. And that is going to be the New England Patriots.
130 pesos.
No, 30.
Oh, 30.
I've got some.
You got another one.
I've got 2 more bets.
Okay.
I've got the Patriots minus 4.5 and the Seahawks money line, which is minus 154.
Okay.
And that gets me to plus 212.
Okay.
So, but I've got some prop bets that I'm going to put 50 apiece on.
Okay. Ooh, interesting.
Jamar Chase, by the way, did not win the Triple Crown this year.
He didn't?
No, he had 125 receptions for 1,412 yards and 8 touchdowns. And Nakua and JSN both had more.
What the fuck have I been saying?
I don't know. I heard
let me do this for like 3 weeks in a row.
I heard the very same thing not long ago, and I thought it was true.
Okay.
2024, he had 127 catches that led the league, 1,708 yards, and 17 touchdowns. That was last year. Yeah, he didn't win the Triple Crown this year.
All right. Well, shows how much I'm paying attention. All right, let me go ahead. I'll do my parlay
What's
first.
your parlay?
This is all I got left. I don't have another one after this.
Okay.
I'm interested to hear your prop bets.
All right.
But here's what I'm doing. I'm going the New England Denver over 42.5. Denver, an alt line of plus 7.5. The Rams alt line plus 7.5.
Okay.
And Sam Darnold under 235.5 passing yards.
Okay.
He had 117 in the last game. He hasn't had over 200 yards many times in the last month. You look at Sam Darnold's numbers the last month. It's not been impressive. But all 4 of those together get me to plus 538, and I'm putting my last 30 pesos.
All right. Okay, so here are my prop bets.
Okay.
I have a same game parlay for each of the games.
Okay.
Same game parlay for the NFC Championship. I have the Seattle Seahawks money line, Kenneth Walker anytime touchdown scorer, Puka Nakua anytime touchdown scorer, Rams plus 7.5. That gets me to plus 798.
Oh my.
And that's 50 pesos.
Oh man. How much did you say? That was plus what?
798.
Oh man. Okay.
You like that one?
I do. I like that one a lot. Seattle to win, but not by more than a touchdown.
Right.
And then 2 guys who should score touchdowns, scoring touchdowns.
Yes.
That's good thinking there.
All right. The other same game parlay for the AFC Championship. And if you want to rethink your bets, I'm willing to allow. Oh,
no,
okay,
man.
we're good.
I'm not a quitter, Larry.
I've got the Patriots money line. I've got Denver plus 12.5.
Ooh. Okay.
And I've got Ramondre Stevenson with a touchdown and Drake May 200-plus passing yards. And that's plus 509.
May over 200 yards?
Yep.
And that's plus what?
Plus 509.
Okay. I like that too. Plus 12.5. What was that number? What was the number on that? Plus 12.5. That had to be like...
Oh, I'd have to look.
Had to be like minus 200 or something.
It was pretty low.
Okay. Still, you put those all together with the Patriots money line, and that's, that gets you to 509 pretty easily, 5-1. I like those. Okay. I'm still,
Is this one of the better playoffs that we've ever seen as far as I don't know, quality? No, it's not quality. Fun. These playoffs have been fun.
for who?
Well,
No, I see what you're
excluding
saying.
the Bills game.
No,
you've had overtime games.
Listen, in all fairness, that the Bills Broncos game was a great game. I mean, it was a great game.
The Panthers Rams game 34-31. 49ers Eagles 23-19. The defending Super Bowl champs go out in their first playoff game. Bears Packers 31-27. A great game. The Steelers Texans was a stinker. But the Bills Jaguars, a great game. Pats Chargers, not a great game. Bills Broncos, a great game.
We've had what, 8 games so far, right? No, 10 games.
No, you're right.
8
9,
games?
10.
10 games so far, and at least 7 of them
Have been really good.
excellent. Yeah,
Absolutely watchable.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I will take away from this year, as being a football fan in general. My team didn't even make the playoffs. That's fine. They didn't deserve to. Joe Burrow was hurt. Your team made the playoffs. I was rooting for them. I will show my loyalty with wearing a hat, maybe. But
yeah.
I just think the playoffs have been really fun this year. We had some weather games in the playoffs.
Yep.
So I'm 3 football games left for us in this football season.
Oh man, I'm getting sad. I just keep getting more sad as we go along.
And
we'll have the big Super Bowl party, but man.
And before we move on to our last segment, did you watch the Monday Night Championship?
I did. Yes.
Your thoughts?
I watched all of it.
Your thoughts on Indiana University being the national football champions?
It's I'm not the first person to say that this is the new environment that college football is in, but this is the new environment that college football.
Well, this is the new environment for all revenue sports.
Sure.
Which is men's basketball and football.
Yeah.
And I think I'd have to look at some stats depending on the school. There are some schools that are definitely doing well with volleyball.
Yeah.
And there are some schools that are definitely doing well with men or women's basketball.
Yeah. I had my in our Kentucky football program, who just hired a hot young coach in Will Stein. One of my friend and my good friend and former business partner, Scotty Williams, was telling me the other day that apparently Will Stein has like the number 4 transfer portal class in the country.
This is
like killing it.
This is the way.
Yeah.
This is the way now.
Yeah.
It's a sea change. This is I don't think I've ever seen in my lifetime such a change in any kind of sports realm like this.
It's a massive change. And then we've got, like, today there was another court ruling where they're allowing a kid who had declared for the NBA draft to go back and play college.
Yeah.
Which was unfathomable 5 years ago.
I saw John Calipari having a meltdown on that the other day. And Calipari has been talking about the integrity of the game for some years, but he also left Kentucky, the blue blood schools, to go to Arkansas, where the Sam's the Walton family or Walmart family is. So
yeah, I know. This is like Nick Saban complaining about loyalty and tradition in college football when he had 8 jobs that he bailed on before he went to Alabama. So I don't want to hear from these old men about fucking. Just stop talking about this. Cal created this. This is partly Cal's doing.
The one and done.
The one and done. The get the money.
By the way, that one and done thing is an NBA rule, not a college rule.
That's fine. But
the NCAA didn't do anything to thwart it.
The environment that we're in now in all college sports has, at least in part, something to do with coaches like John Calipari.
It's semi-pro without the guardrails.
Yeah. Back to the actual game, Miami and Indiana. I found it to be a pretty difficult watch.
Indiana was just killing them for a while.
Well, yes. But it was a very slow, it was a very plodding. Both defenses are just tremendous defenses for both teams. I came away from that game kind of wondering if Fernando Mendoza is like, what do you think he's going to actually be like in the NFL? Because he's now, Kuiper's saying he's the clear-cut number one pick. He's going to end up going to the Raiders, which I get that this kid is tough, but man, he better be real tough behind that Raiders offensive line.
I don't think anybody can survive under that Raiders offensive line to any great degree. I think that I don't know enough about football to tell you if he's going to be something at the next level, but I listen enough to other people that say buyer beware.
Okay. I think the same thing.
Because yes, there is a big difference. I'll go back to this guy named David Rivers, who played for Notre Dame back in the 80s. David Rivers was a great college player, but he was a very limited pro. And we've seen that over the years where a great college player can come in and be a very limited pro due to size, due to a lack of athleticism, to a number of factors. And from what I read about this guy, he is a one-read quarterback, and that's never going to fly in the NFL.
No, it's not. I wasn't all that impressed with, I don't know that he can make all. I've heard that he's got this arm, that he's got a good arm and all that. When you watch it, it doesn't. There's something missing.
When you take the hash marks and you move them into the middle, and you have to make a 22-yard throw as opposed to a 12 or 13-yard throw
to get the ball outside.
And it has to be more precise, and the windows are smaller, and the catch radius is smaller because of the defender. I will go to my grave saying NFL quarterback in sports is by far the hardest job.
Yeah. I would argue catcher in baseball.
Major League Baseball catcher.
Major League Baseball catcher.
Sure. I can get on board with that.
But even that has kind of changed with the sport too. There's not as much defensive strategy. The catcher used to be like the quarterback of the defense.
I think they still are to a degree, but there's analytics involved now.
Yeah.
But
a lot more is being done from the dugout.
Quarterbacks have about 4 seconds to make a post-snap read on a good day. And sometimes it's less than a half or maybe a second. And about every 4 or 5 plays, they get their dicks knocked straight in the dirt.
Yeah.
And they have to stand there and make that throw.
I'll say this about Mendoza. He's definitely got the toughness. He got his lip bloodied on a shot in the first quarter.
Helmet-to-helmet contact that wasn't called.
Could have been called. Could have very easily been called. But toughness is only going to get you so far. You've got to be able to make the reads. You got to be able to go. You got to be able to go at least 3 reads deep in the NFL, or you're going to have problems. So I don't know. If it was me, if I had the first pick in this draft, I'd be looking to trade it. That's what I came away with. Trade it to somebody who's if he gets into the right system, if he gets to the right coach, I think he'll be okay.
You can say that just about any rookie quarterback.
Yeah. So I don't think, and just spoiler alert, I don't think the Raiders are that organization. What did you think about Carson Beck? So the interesting thing about Carson Beck is he threw that. Miami had a chance in this game, as defensive, as much of a defensive battle as this game was through the first half and half of the third quarter. Man, all of a sudden teams were lighting it up.
When you think the game is over and you go do something else for a few minutes and you come back and you see that it is close, you know that a quarterback has really done something.
Yeah.
And he had done something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, what does that mean for him at the next level? I don't know.
I think he's a backup at best. at the next level. Yeah. His issue all year and throughout his career, and it feels like Carson Beck's been playing college football for like 12 years, but that last pass that was picked off, he's always had an issue he's always had issues throwing deep, and that was exactly like when they got beat by Louisville earlier in the year. I remember watching that game and thinking, man, these guys are not like this is one of my arguments for including somebody like Vanderbilt or Notre Dame or BYU in the college playoff, was because I didn't think Miami was better than those teams.
No,
they were equal at best. But Carson Beck, that was one of the issues, was he can't throw it long. And when they lost to Louisville, that was exactly what happened. He couldn't make long passes. And that's you can't come into the NFL unable to throw the ball deep. You have to have at least the ability. Like even the weakest armed quarterbacks can get the ball downfield if you're going to be a starter. He's a backup at best.
3 football games left. 2 of them this weekend, and then the Super Bowl in 3 weeks.
Yep.
They take a week off.
Yep.
So we'll come back, and when we come back, there are some 90s songs, some Gen X songs that are absolutely nonsense, and we'll talk about some of the best nonsense songs.
I realized on the break that we hadn't updated our actual picks from round 2 of the playoffs, so I'm just going to real quick go through. We did okay. I had Denver +1, and these are my individual picks. I had Denver +1.5, that hit. Seattle money line -350, that hit. Chicago +3.5, that hit. They only lost by 3. The one I missed was Houston +3. And then my parlay of Rams Chicago under 48.5. That was good, but Seattle -350 was good. But then I missed a Houston alt line of +6.5, and Buffalo hit -108. I'm sorry, those are yours. I had written these down wrong. We've thoroughly confused the audience at this point.
Okay, I'm behind in the contest by how many?
You're behind by about 150 pesos right now.
And if I lose the contest for 2 weeks in a row, I have to wear a Bills hat.
That's true. For 2 weeks.
Instead of looking like a crab fisherman.
Yeah, you need a yellow slicker and
I had this hat on today, and I was just like, I'm not even going to fix my hair.
Do we have a corncob pipe?
I'd love to have one.
Yeah, it'd be great.
All right, so I'm reading this article in the New York Times.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm reading this article in the New York Times the other day, which I want to do, and it was basically a story about Sting and the Police.
Okay.
So back in the day, Sting had made note of these songs from the 60s and 70s that were basically what they termed pop gibberish. A do-run-run, do-wa-diddy, diddy-dum-diddy, those songs.
Man, these are like surf. These are like kind of surf. Was that kind of a surf?
Bebop-a-lua. And the thing that Sting noted...
You want to take another run at that?
Bebop-a-lula. That's what it's called.
Okay.
And the thing that Sting noted was the songs were wildly popular. Some of these songs are super popular.
Yeah.
The Walrus, Cuckoo Cuckoo. I mean, it's a Beatles tune, but it was
true.
Wildly popular. And Sting decided that people liked them because they were innocent. And people, like, they didn't have to come up with some deeper meaning or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was just something fun to listen to.
Okay.
And that music can be that, you know?
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
we don't have to be moved to tears to enjoy a song.
Yeah, you don't have to be listening to Sunhouse talk about his, like, the 60th time that his woman left him and he's waiting for a train, right?
Yeah, or Beethoven's Fifth, where you get a lot of emotions,
right? Just
listening to music with no lyrics.
Yeah.
So Sting wrote the do 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 da 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 in homage to those songs, and it became a hit.
Sting, this is great because you could argue that that's among some of the more deeper meaning lyrics that Sting ever wrote. Not the greatest lyricist in the world.
I like some of his stuff,
Yeah.
but I mean, his most popular song is about being a stalker.
Yeah, yeah.
And then later, when it was just Sting, he wrote,
What was the
Swords of the Soldier.
Yeah, I don't remember. I remember hearing them, but I can't tell you the names. I'm very bad with names of songs.
King of My Heart is what that one's called.
Okay.
So anyway, we'll do kind of the 80s and 90s version of this. There were a bunch of these back in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
When they were back in the stacks, laying down tracks on wax, blah, blah, blah. That was something they would say. So they had the Do Run Run, that was the Crystals. And the Beatles, Walrus. The Police did Do 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 Do. Talking Heads did I Zimbra, which I didn't know that song. These are all just the 10 from the New York Times. Dizzy Gillespie had Oop Papa Da, Oop Papa Da, Oop. I don't know. Oop.
Is
Papa
that
Da.
yeah?
And the Beatles famously had this is a Paul McCartney song. Obla Di Obla Da, Life Goes On.
We're just butchering this shit. I love it.
Well, anyway,
wait a minute. What about Susudio?
Okay.
Is that on there?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So that is one of the number one songs on this list is Susudio. It doesn't mean anything.
No, it can't. It can't possibly.
In fact, it is the number one song in the New York Times list.
Is it really?
Yes.
Wow, man. I didn't expect that. I was thinking that maybe it got left off of there somehow.
It was a nonsensical word that popped out of Phil Collins' mouth. And then he was like, later he went back and tried to find a replacement word, something that was just as fun that kind of made some sense.
Yeah.
Nothing. He had nothing.
Huh. Okay.
So we know that this did not end for us Gen Xers.
Oh, no.
Not everything was fun and was serious. There was some fun had in the 90s.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Not a ton. We were, we went through brooding. What was the one, you want me to tell you the one I came up with?
Tell the story about the one.
Yellow Ledbetter is, there are no lyrics to that song. Now, people listen to it. Crowd sings along. Everybody thinks they know the words. The actual story behind that song, this is when they were in the recording sessions for this is Pearl Jam, for anybody who doesn't know. Yellow Ledbetter by Pearl Jam. The song that I think they still, to this day, close most shows with the song.
Because you can play it for 10 minutes and it's a fucking rock song.
Yeah, and you can jam too. Mike McCready can jam out a solo as long as he wants to. The crowd goes crazy. They sing along every word, except there are no words. And the story behind this is they went into the studio to record 10. And this was going to be one of the songs on the album, except that Eddie didn't write any lyrics for it. And it came time for them to record because I think it was they were running out of studio time or whatever. So he just went in and improvised, basically scattered the whole thing. And so there's no written lyrics for it. You said, but wait, he sings words during the shows. I'm like, yeah, but if you go back and listen to 10 live versions of Yellow Ledbetter, they're all going to be different. And they'll fall within a certain framework of like the like how the words sound, but they're never going to be the same. There's no written lyrics ever to that one. That's why they didn't put it on the album, in fact.
The Red Hot Chili Peppers have a couple of these. I'm going to read you the lyrics from Give It Away. Okay?
Oh, God.
What I've got.
I'm going to have to put a little warning.
You've got to give it to your mama.
Yeah.
What I've got, you got to give it to your papa.
Mm-hmm.
What I've got, you got to give it to your daughter. You do it a little dance and you drink a little water.
Great. I mean, just great lyrics.
Californication.
Californication is the Chili Peppers hit a period of time when Anthony Kiedis was just listing states.
Psychic spies from China try to steal your mind's elation, and little girls from Sweden dream of silver screen quotation. And if you want these kind of dreams, it's Californication.
Good Lord.
There you go.
I mean, that's got to be.
Scar
there
tissues.
were no drugs involved in that one, were there?
None.
Not at all.
I mean, he does have a song where, Under the Bridge, where he talks about taking heroin.
Yeah.
So, Loser by Beck.
Yeah.
Is there a more popular song that doesn't mean a damn thing than Loser? How many times have we heard Loser in our lives?
Well,
Hundreds?
Beck's an interesting case study because a lot of his stuff, man, he's almost a rapper. Like if you think about the cadence of the verses in Loser, it's kind of a rap song.
It is kind of a rap song.
It's got a heavy beat it's got an almost hip hop beat to it.
In the time of chimpanzees, I was a monkey.
He's not singing. He's just kind of laying down words, man.
And then the hook is "I'm a loser, baby." Yeah, I mean you cannot beat that hook.
Nope. And what was the one off of Odelay that was the follow up album to that? There was a big one off of. There was Loser, but then the bigger one was.
There's a bigger song than Loser? I don't know.
Yeah. It was another Beck song. I'll have to look it up. You can listen to almost any Beck album, and you can find songs like this. It's a lot like I pointed out that Dave Matthews even himself said at one point that his words mean nothing. Like he's just writing words to be like an instrument on his songs.
Well, In the Air Tonight and Hotel California, both famously, the writers have been asked, or the writers performers have been asked hundreds of times now.
Yeah.
What do they mean?
Yeah.
And the answer they always give back is it means whatever you want it to mean.
Well, and that's
to you.
See, that's a trick though. Like how many people have just sat back, just listen to California and just ripping trees and trying to come up with, stoned ass ideas of what Hotel California is about. I mean, it's like they talk about devil worshiping and all those different things. There's all kind of symbolism and like that. I think those that kind of, does that count? I don't know if Hotel California counts.
I mean, we're kind of giving some of these bands that we think a lot about a hard time, but I mean, there have been thousands of bubblegum pop songs over the years that are a little more plain spoken in what they're talking about, and a lot less appealing.
See, this is what I found interesting when you first mentioned that Sting was talking about those songs from
the 60s
and the 60s, just mostly 60s.
Yeah, mostly 60s. Maybe some late 50s.
Yeah, because like pop music, I don't think it's actually changed that much. I mean,
it's still a lot about broken hearts and young love and revenge, or you know, it's a lot of big feelings.
Yeah,
even like that's kind of why I've kind of listed over to Americana and Tyler Childers and some of those guys.
Yeah. I think pop music is always going to be a little bit. It's always going to have that element of like some of this stuff doesn't make any sense. Like some of it's just filler. It's more about the melody and the hook and the earworminess than it is about having a real meaning.
Such as Sex and Candy by Marcy Playground.
Right, yeah.
And then there she was in Platform Double Suede. Yeah, there she was, like Disco Lemonade.
Yeah.
It's like Mad Libs.
Yeah.
Disco Lemonade.
Yep.
Right down a place you might go dance. Disco. What's a drink flavor? Yeah. Lemonade. There you go.
Talk about just bong rips and notebooks. Like that's where all that stuff in the 90s came from, man. Look at man, there's a lot of that stuff from like Queens of the Stone Age. There's a song, their song this is gonna feel good hit of the summer. You should look up the lyrics to that.
Oh, gosh.
The lyrics are nicotine, Valium, Vicodin, marijuana, ecstasy, and alcohol. And then the chorus is cocaine, and that's it. And then it's just a stoner guitar riff over that. That's it. That's the song.
Are there songs like this though that they don't have to be serious, like Yellow Ledbetter? Like, it takes me to a time and place that was broken and poor, but lacking in responsibility and happy.
Yeah. That's the thing about music in general is like sometimes we ascribe more meaning to songs than the songwriters themselves did.
Yeah, I
know?
think they think it's kind of a big joke at some point.
Some of them really do, man, and some of them like
they're not looking down on you, but they're
No.
like, it's not that deep. It's just music, and please enjoy the music.
yeah.
And I'm glad to play for you for $172 per ticket.
Yes, exactly. Like I just want this to catch on so that you'll come to my show and buy a $60 t-shirt.
And having played in a band, that you enjoy the hell out of going up there and playing.
Absolutely. Yeah, there is
Having played out maybe 4 times in my entire life, so badly on bass.
I mean, there is really something to being up there, and like when you're playing a really good show and you've just got however, and it doesn't, it can be 20 people, it can be 200 people, it can be 1,000 people. I can't even begin to imagine. I remember when I went to my first Pearl Jam show, my first ever concert, saw Pearl Jam in an arena that had like 16,000 people in it. And I remember thinking, I live in a town where there's 12,000 people.
Right.
And I can't even imagine, like, I have no concept of like what it's like to have a group of people that's larger than like most towns in America just eating out of the palm of your hand for 3 hours.
Now, you were in a band called Arizona Bay. There have been many bands called Arizona Bay. There have been many bands called Lost Dogs.
This is true.
These are tribute bands to
Yeah.
Pearl Jam and Tool, respectively.
Yeah.
So when you're up there playing 46 and 2, dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun, do you just get in a groove
Absolutely.
that you cannot be dragged out of because it's so there's something to that?
Yeah, you kind of get in. I know what you're talking about. You get into a trance. Like it's you kind of have to leave your body for a minute and kind of get in, especially when you're playing something that takes. There's different. I don't want to make it sound like there's I play Tool, so I play much harder music. No, it's not that. It's like when the whole band has to be in sync. There's something to that. But then you can also, like since I do live production around here, I do sound for a lot of country bands, right? That are covering, they're covering country music from the 60s and 70s all the way up through today. And it's still like they're all working off of each other and they've got this connection, and it's, somebody changes something here. So you got to follow that. It's like it's the combination of having a crowd responding to you and the feeling of like having 3 or 4 other people up on stage with you that you're just like you're locked in. When you're locked in, it's great. It's just great.
Yeah, and I would say as a consumer of this, there's nothing better than a really good live music show. And I guess it's I have a lot of trouble hearing the lyrics. Like I've always had trouble making out lyrics. I have to look them up later.
Same.
So a good hook will grab me.
Oh,
like
yeah.
My wife calls it dude music. She's like, it's just dude music. Doesn't mean anything. It's meaningless. And I'm like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I still like it. So
you and I have seen some bangers the last year too.
Oh gosh.
You took me to see you. I make this sound like it was a date. It was not a date. Okay. You just randomly called me one day and you were like, "Hey, listen, I got tickets to see Steven Wilson Jr. Down at Manchester Music Hall here in Lexington, which is like a 1,500, 2,000 head little club kind of deal.
You've played there.
I've played there.
Which is funny. You've shared the same stage that Steven Wilson Jr.
That's right.
You played the big main stage.
I did. Yeah.
And then I saw the lead singer from, not Guns N' Roses, Jesus, Black Crowes.
Yeah.
Chris, I saw him there.
Robinson.
Chris Robinson. I saw him there too.
Yep.
With Marcus King.
Yeah. Yep. Cinderella played there, I believe.
So so we went to see Steven Wilson Jr. in a show where you have played the main stage,
where I've run sound for different bands,
and
I had no idea who this guy was. Like you played some music for him when we were, I don't know where we were shooting a video. We were shooting that Tiffany Nesbitt video.
You'll never be able to see him in an arena that size again.
Oh my God, no. No, have you looked at what his tickets are like?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. You were like, hey, she's bailing out on this show. It's like a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
And I was like,
it was cold.
I was like, oh my God, it was so cold. And I was like, yeah, sure. What the hell? I'll go see a show. It's Wednesday night. I don't have anything else to do. This is before we're recording the podcast. And I was just blown. I was blown away by that guy from like basically the opening. He like opened with All Apologies. Like he started playing the riff to All Apologies by Nirvana.
Yeah, he just messing around or something. And then he comes out with, I think he played Calico Creek was his kickoff.
Yes.
And he's playing, he plays this flat top guitar with vinyl strings. And he is a virtuoso. His claim to fame is being a virtuoso guitarist.
Yeah.
We'll never see a show like that again. Not from that guy.
No.
We also went and saw a Mo Lauda in the Humble.
Mo Lauda was great, man. Mo Lauda, yeah. If you have a chance, check out. If you haven't heard of Steven Wilson Jr. yet, like
go find him.
Go find him.
He's not hard to find. Mo Lauda and the Humble's a lot harder to find.
A little harder, yeah.
They are basically a poor man's touring band out of Philadelphia. Yeah. And their lead singer is he's just a musician all the way through.
Yep.
And he's not the most talented singer. He's a good singer, but he's not like, you're not blown away by his voice.
Yeah.
You're not blown away by his guitar playing, but like, they're just a fun band to watch.
Their band is tight. Like that was one of the tightest bands. Like that you can tell that those guys, if they're not on the road playing, like they're in the garage or the practice space or wherever they are. They're ripping off like 4 or 5 hour practice sessions.
Their warm up bands were not very good.
No.
They were just kind of experimental. But the best part about that show was the lead singer of the band, Kiola is his name. Jordan Kiola, I think is what his name is. He was hanging out in the crowd before he played.
Yep. Nobody knew who he was.
No.
It was great.
Not really.
It was great. Yeah, we've seen some good ones. I'm going to see Ghost at the request of our daughter coming up in a couple weeks, so I'll have something to report. I don't know if you know who Ghost is.
I don't know them. We're going to see Tyler Childers and Red Clay Strays in Columbus.
Oh, Red Clay Strays. Oh, man. Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, music doesn't have to be that serious.
No. Please don't make it so serious. My goodness. Some guys try too hard.
So the next week... it's kind of going to be a dead week. We're going to report back, but we're going to have a week off before the Super Bowl.
We talked about going back to like the early days and reviewing. Like we did an AFC. We did our first 2 episodes. AFC and NFC season previews. So I think what we need to do is you and I are going to have to do a little homework.
How bad were we?
See how bad we were. Because I did have one. I had one future bet actually hit.
Predictions sure to go wrong.
Yeah. So we'll have that. We're going to have to start having some guests on after Super Bowl though. We got Olympics coming up, and then we've got the UFL. Are you excited for that?
No, that is every game of that is 1-800 Gambler Game of the Week.
Are you gonna? It really is. It's the 1-800 Gambler League of the year.
Yeah, it's like betting on cricket.
Yeah. Who do you got in curling though? I think I've already used that joke.
Canada.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.